Okay, now that the draft is officially over, I'm going to be grading all 32 teams' draft classes from this year. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. First up, we got the Cardinals. I'm not going to lie, bro. I'm going to give them an A+. They swung and hit on almost all their picks. You know what I'm saying? Starting off with Walter Nolan. He went where I thought he was going to go. You know what I'm saying? Around that range. I had him mock 17 to the Bengals. They ended up taking him at 16. I think this could end up being a steal for real because if it wasn't for his character concerns, he probably would have been a top 10 pick, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But I think he's going to be a future all-pro in this league, bro. As long as he can stay on the field and, you know what I'm saying, it just be able to chill and relax, bro. Because there's been a lot of talk about, you know what I'm saying, immaturity issues with him. But other than that, bro, I think this is a great pick for them. You know what I'm saying? Their second round pick, there was no reason why Will Johnson should have failed, bro. I understand, you know, he had a whole bunch of injury concerns. I think ankle injury and, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. But this is easily the best corner in the draft class. Yes, I think he's better than Trav. You know what I'm saying? Will Johnson is just a technician, bro. You know what I'm saying? The way he breaks on the ball, like his ball skills and just how he is as a corner, bro. Now, I know, you know, there's been questions about his long speed. Can he keep up with NFL caliber receivers? You know what I'm saying? And how short his arms are. I don't think that's going to be a problem in the NFL, bro, because as a DB, if you have good technique, bro, I don't think you're gonna struggle in the NFL whatsoever, bro. You know what I'm saying? And the Cardinals got themselves a steal right there. Speaking of steals, Jordan Burch. Now, I haven't really looked up too much on Jordan Burch. I do remember seeing a couple clips from him when I reacted to Oregon games last year. I like Jordan Burch. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's a great pickup for them. They needed more pass rush. They signed Josh Sweat in the offseason. Adding Nolan and Burch to that D line, I like it. I ain't gonna lie. Cody Simon feel like was a solid pickup. Denzel Burke, I'm low key surprised he fell to the 5th round. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Ohio State fans will tell you this dude is the real deal. You know what I'm saying? And there's not really a lot of, you know, highlights out on him because the ball wasn't really thrown his way that much at Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? He was really pretty much locking down his side of the field. You know what I'm saying? Then when the ball was thrown his way, you know what I'm saying, ended up being a pass deflection. You know what I'm saying? PBU and, you know what I'm saying, just nobody was really doing anything over that side where Denzel Burke was at. But hey, they got two really good corners, bro. Elite caliber corners in Will Johnson, Denzel Burke. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Cardinals defense, they looking stacked right now, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Okay, next up, we got the Falcons. We gonna talk about them. They killed the draft. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna give them an A+. I'm gonna give them an A. I'm gonna give them an A. I'm not gonna give them an A+. Jalen Walker was an absolute steal for real, because he could have realistically been a top 5 pick. You know what I'm saying? He could have went to the Jags, but the Jags traded up for Trav. He could have went to the Panthers. They really needed, you know, more pass rush, and we're gonna get more into them and migrate for them because they went crazy too. But Jalen Walker was absolute steal at 15. I had him mocked to the Falcons at 15 as well. So, you know what I'm saying? They really needed pass rush. The last time they've had a double-digit sack leader, I think, was Vic Beasley back in like 2016, 2015, where he had like 16 and a half sacks. So this was an incredible pickup for them. Versatile linebacker who will most likely rush off the edge, but gives you some chops as a off-ball linebacker as well. But that's not it. They fucked around, double dipped on edge rushers, traded back up for James Pierce. Now, if you know what I'm saying, if you're new to the channel, bro, you don't know how much I wanted James Pierce as a Raven. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people will tell you that James Pierce was my dream pick for my Ravens this year. I'm not even gonna lie. But he didn't make it to us. My second pick was definitely Malachi Starks, but I really wanted James Pierce. And when they traded up to get him in front of us, bro, I was so heated. But, bro, they gave up a lot of value to get him. Not gonna lie, bro. Now, James Pierce is a very productive pass rusher. You know what I'm saying? They got a great edge rush duo for the future for like the next 4 or 5 years, depending on if they pick up their 5th-year options. But they gave a first-round pick next year to trade up for James Pierce. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. It might end up paying off, but I don't know, because realistically, he could have fell out the first round. But I understand the Falcons didn't want to take a chance on, you know, that happening. But I don't think the Eagles were definitely not taking him. We're sticking with Jahad Campbell the whole way. They even tried to trade up to go get Jahad, but I feel like Pierce would have definitely fell out the first round, and they would have been able to trade back up. You know what I'm saying, into the second round to be able to pick him up. But hey, and speaking of steals, bro, Xavier Watts. Oh my gosh. Him and Jesse Bates about to eat. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. They lose Richie Grant. They lost Justin Simmons. And they double dipped on safeties. Him and Billy Bowman. I think Billy Bowman ran like a 4.3, I believe, at the combine. They got 2 steals, bro. You know what I'm saying? Xavier Watts is an absolute ball hawk. You know what I'm saying? Rangy safety. I love Xavier Watts. I'm not even gonna lie. I had him on my draft board for my Ravens. You know what I'm saying? If we didn't end up drafting Malachi Starks, which we did, you know what I'm saying? But this is a good ass draft from them. I'm gonna give them an A. And A, bro, this might end up being a really great draft for them. We got my Baltimore Ravens, bro. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna give us an A plus. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be biased here. I'm gonna honestly give us an A. Because I'm gonna get into that in a second. But oh my gosh, we want to talk about steals. The league fucked up letting us get Malachi Starks. I'm telling you right now. This is going to allow him to play free safety. You know what I'm saying? Our Darius Washington to play strong safety and allow Kyle Hamilton to roam around the field, bro. Whether it's slot corner, whether it's in the box, you know what I'm saying? He can play a whole bunch of different hats for us, bro, this upcoming season because of the fact we got Malachi Starks and our Darius Washington back there, bro. I love this pick. You know what I'm saying? He plays like a Raven. Now, even though his 2024 tape isn't as good as 2023, that's because Georgia had him doing literally everything. Whether it's free safety, strong safety, had him in the box, had him in the slot, you know what I'm saying, or outside corner. They had him doing so many different things for them this past season that he couldn't really, you know what I'm saying? He played good, don't get me wrong, but wasn't as good as 2023. You know what I'm saying? And oh my gosh. Hey, for the people that saw my reaction to Mike Green falling to us, yo, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I almost lost my voice. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Now, Eric DeCosta and you know what I'm saying, the Ravens front office, they said they looked into this thoroughly through his SA cases. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't have drafted him if everything wasn't looking good. You know what I'm saying? So he most likely did not do it. You know what I'm saying? The SA cases, I think, date back to his high school days and I think at Virginia. And what I love about this pick even more, not just because of how productive he was with 17 sacks and I think 23 TFLs, he's from my state. He's from Newport News, Virginia. I love this pick, bro. He doesn't even have to travel far, bro. From Virginia to Baltimore, you know what I'm saying, to Maryland. So I love this pick so much, and we needed an productive pass rusher, bro. We've been looking for one for a long time. Now, we have some good pass rushers in Odafe Owe and Kyle Van Noy, but Kyle Van Noy is on the last year of his deal. You know what I'm saying? Who knows if we were going to re-sign Owe? He might even get traded, but I love this pick so much, bro. You know what I'm saying? Mike Green is a dog, and I cannot wait for him to, you know what I'm saying, play as a Raven, bro. Real shit. Emory Jones, I kind of love this pick. I'm going to keep it a buck because I think he was supposed to be a first-round pick, I think, heading into the season last year. But he had an underwhelming season, but he only allowed 2 sacks as well. So, hey, make sure you keep LJ clean, my nigga. Not going to lie. Teddy Buchanan, I don't know much about. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know much about any of these guys right here. Teddy Buchanan, this guy, this offensive tackle out of Alabama A&M, who he's 6'7", by the way. So he might be good. Not gonna lie. We drafted a corner, and for the Ravens fans saying why we didn't draft Kobe Bryant, nigga, fuck that nigga. He talked shit about Lamar Thompson. He a playoff choker. You really think he was gonna be a Raven? Real shit? No. Fuck that nigga. I'm glad he went undrafted. Real shit, bro. But hey, and this right here, bro, this guarantees that Tucker is gone. You know what I'm saying? Tucker he's gonna forever be a Baltimore Ravens legend. You know what I'm saying? It sucks that his career is pretty much gonna end like this, cause I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't see him playing for nobody else after this. You know what I'm saying? He has so many SA cases out right now, gang, that I don't think any team is gonna, take a chance on him. So this might be the end of his career. But who knows? A team might end up calling him up, and you know what I'm saying. He might end up getting a job somewhere else. But it looks like his time in Baltimore is done. But hey, LeJohntay Wester, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I love this pick. And for the Ravens fans saying we don't need receiver, buddy, you must not have been watching last year in the playoffs. When we lost Zay Flowers, we were fucked. Real shit. We had to depend on Steven Sims and Anthony Miller as wide receiver 2 and 3. So that's not gonna happen this year. We went out and signed D-Hop, but that's a 1-year deal. We draft Wester, we get 4 years of him. You know what I'm saying? Along with Bateman for the next 2 years, Zay for the next, you know what I'm saying, 2-3+ years. This wide receiving core, bro, is looking nice. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. And I fuck with Wester. I think he had 900 yards last year for Colorado with 10 tuds. He gonna be one of them ones, bro. He's shifty. You know what I'm saying? Great route runner, blazing fast. And he gives us flexibility as a returner as well. So why not draft him? You know, I kind of wish we would have drafted Jimmy Horn too. But you can't be greedy. I can't lie. You can't be too greedy. But Peebles, I think Peebles is solid. I think he was top 3 in defensive tackle pressures in this class. So I like this one. Robert Longerbeam. This is very underrated. I'm not gonna lie, because I think he had 10+ PBUs in the three out of the past 4 seasons. So I like this pick. You know what I'm saying? I think he got 37 career PBUs and 5 career interceptions. So I like that. And then we got Garrett Dellinger. We got 2 LSU boys. I ain't gonna lie. I like this draft, bro. I definitely give us an A. You know what I'm saying? But Mike Green and Malachi Starks, I cannot wait to see them in some purple and black. Real shit, bro. Okay, we got the Bills up next, bro. They killed the draft too. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I'm gonna give them an A+. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna give them an A+. Maxwell Harrison. They kind of didn't need to draft a corner, you know what I'm saying, round 1, but they got 3 really good corners now with him, Benford, Taron Johnson, you know what I'm saying. Maxwell Harrison, sticky in coverage. He ran 4.28 at the combine, you know what I'm saying. Maxwell Harrison's a dog, bro, and it's crazy that he did fall this far, but this was such a stacked, defensive class, you know what I'm saying, especially at the cornerback position. But I like Maxwell Harrison. I'm not going to lie. I think he's going to fit in very good with this Buffalo defense. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of guys that are going to fit in very well, I called this pick, bro. I called this pick. TJ Sanders, one of the most underrated defensive tackles in this class. I think, you know what I'm saying, he has some pass rush chops too, but he's most likely going to be just an interior nose tackle. You know what I'm saying? Playing next to Ed Oliver too, along with Deion Walker, who was an absolute steal, by the way. I thought he should have been gone on day 2. But he kind of had an underwhelming, you know what I'm saying, 2024 compared to 2023. But Deion Walker is still a baller. And then Landon Jackson, great edge depth. You know what I'm saying? You cannot trust Joey Bosa to stay healthy this year. For nothing, bro. You can't even trust him to play 5 games, let alone a full 17. So I like this pick for them. Landon Jackson is kind of still raw as a prospect, but I think he's gonna be just fine. You know what I'm saying? Especially with Joey Bosa to mentor him. You know what I'm saying? I think he's gonna be a stud in the NFL. I'm not gonna lie. Jordan Hancock, another one of those underrated corners. You know what I'm saying? I like this pick for them. Jackson Halls, Dorian Strong. I kind of wanted Dorian Strong to be a Raven too. I'm not gonna lie. That was a solid pick for them. And Caden Prather too. Hey, Maryland Demon. I wanted him to be a Raven low key. You know what I'm saying? Stay in state. But this was a solid pick for them. I'll give the Bills an A+ for this draft. Oh my gosh. Speaking of A+, I can give the damn Panthers an A++ for this. Real shit. Tedroy McMillan, a top 10 pick, and what's crazy is a lot of people were saying why the hell they did. A lot of people were laughing at this pick for some reason. I don't understand where all the T-Mac hate was coming from, bro. But that shit was definitely forced, bro. T-Mac easily the best wide receiver in this draft class. I don't give a fuck, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can say Matthew Golden all you want. I don't care. I'm taking T-Mac over Matthew Golden any day. You know what I'm saying? Mike Evans type build receiver. You know what I'm saying? And Bryce finally has a true number 1. You can't rely on an old Adam Thielen for the future. You got a nice reliable second option in Xavier Legette. Jalen Coker is a nice option as well. You finally have a nice number one option for Bryce Young, bro. And Bryce Young, he looked great at the end of the year last year. You know what I'm saying? Now he got weapons. Oh, it's about to look dangerous. And they went out and got two great edge rushers. You know what I'm saying? Nick Scott and Princely Umami yelling. I look, he wanted both of those guys too. You know what I'm saying? Before we even drafted Mike Green, both of these guys are really good. I'm not gonna lie. A&M and Ole Miss had some crazy defensive lines, bro. You know what I'm saying? At A&M, obviously Shamar Stewart, Nick Scorton, Shamar Turner. At Ole Miss, you had Princely Umami yelling. You had obviously Walter Nolan. Who else? Sunterrain Perkins, JJ Pegues. You know what I'm saying? They had a stacked D-line too. And for both of them to go to Carolina, yeah, they finally got their pass rush, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. They also ended up drafting Trevor Etienne, which was solid, bro. They got a nice three-headed monster right now. They got Rico Dowdle, obviously Chuba Hubbard, one of the most underrated running backs in the league. And adding Trevor Etienne to that, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Hey, Panthers really cooked up, bro. I'm not gonna lie. And then they went out and drafted Lathan Ransom, hard-hitting safety, hard-nosed. He don't care who you are. He coming downhill and he laying the boom. Real stuff, bro. I fuck with Lathan Ransom, bro. He definitely gives me early 2000s vibes, bro. You know what I'm saying? A hard-hitting safety. I like that pick for them. Mitchell Evans, Notre Dame. Michael Mayer, maybe. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But this pick right here, I love this pick for them. They get a great slot receiver in Jimmy Horn, blazing fast. He did kind of, you know what I'm saying, kind of was underwhelming as 40. You know what I'm saying? I think he ran, what, a 4.5? But his in-game speed, oh my gosh, you not catching him in the open field. I promise you that. So their wide receiver core is looking good right now. I'm not gonna lie. T-Mac, Leggett. They got obviously Adam Thielen, Jalen Coker, and adding Jimmy Horn to that. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, that's looking nice, bro. Speaking of offenses looking nice, what the fuck was Ben Johnson cooking up for the Bears, bro? The shock of the draft, well, not of the draft, but of the first round. Colston Loveland to the Bears. A lot of people were expecting Tyler Warren. They already have Cole Kmet, so why would they draft Tyler Warren? Both of those guys are similar tight ends. They draft Colston Loveland. He can play on the outside. He can play in the slot. Typical inline tight end. He's a great blocker. This was insane. I thought they were just gonna run 12 personnel with this, but they draft Luther Burden, and Luther Burden got some flexibility to play inside and outside as well, bro. So you telling me they got Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, they signed Olamide Zaccheaus, they got Cole Kmet, they draft Colston Loveland, and they draft Luther Burden. If they don't have a top 5 offense this season, we're gonna have to start having a conversation about the Bears, bro. Real stuff. Cause they got so much talent to just be bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? They have just too much talent, bro, for them not to be great. But that was just insane. I'm not even gonna lie. Now I don't know who this is. I'm gonna keep it a buck, so I'm not gonna speak on that. Shamar Turner, underrated draft pick for them, bro. You know what I'm saying? He could have honestly went earlier than this, but this is a great pickup for them. Don't know who that is. Don't know who this is. Don't know who this is. I'm gonna keep it a buck, and I don't know who that is. I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. But I'm gonna give the Bears, bro. I'm gonna give them a B plus. I'm gonna give them a B plus because we gotta see how that fucking offense turns out, bro, with Loveland and Burden. But I'm gonna give them a B plus for this. Not gonna lie. Next up, we got the Bengals. The Bengals low-key killed the draft. Not gonna lie, bro. Shamar Stewart. I know a lot of Bengals fans were saying, why would we draft a guy who, you know what I'm saying, has some growing to do as a pass rusher. They were comparing him to Myles Murphy from last year. This is nowhere near Myles Murphy. Myles Murphy is not near as athletic as Shamar Stewart is, bro. Shamar Stewart, I know the production isn't there yet. I understand that. But if you look at the way A&M was using him, you know what I'm saying, mostly to set edges and, you know what I'm saying, to contain on zone reads and stuff like that. But when you look at when he does rush the passer, he was always pressuring the quarterback. And if you look at you know what I'm saying, his Senior Bowl, he dominated. One of the most freak of natures I've ever seen at edge rusher. You know what I'm saying? Shamar Stewart is gonna be one of the ones. It's only a matter of time for the production to follow him being a freak athlete. You know what I'm saying? Same goes for what happened with Trayvon Walker. He went #1 overall based off traits. That's what happens nowadays. Teams draft based on traits, and that's exactly what happened with Shamar Stewart. And I think he's going to be one of them ones, bro. Real shit. Real shit. Demetrius Knight, I feel like, was a solid pick. South Carolina was just pumping out defensive players, bro, the whole fucking draft. So I like that one for them. Fairchild, I don't really know. Barrett Carter was very underrated. So they got a solid, you know what I'm saying, young linebacker duo of the future. You know what I'm saying? They still got Logan Wilson. I think Jermaine Pratt. I think. Bengals fans, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, bro. I don't really keep up with y'all for real. But that's a solid linebacker duo of the future right there. Jalen Rivers, I don't know about, and I was so mad when they took Taj Brooks, bro. I low-key wanted him on my team. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But Taj Brooks, super productive running back. You know what I'm saying? I think he had 2 straight 1,000-yard rushing seasons. It was 2 or 3. But he is so good, bro. And he might end up being their RB1, bro. He might end up taking Chase Brown's spot. So I kind of like that. I'm gonna give the Bengals a solid B+. I'm not gonna lie. This is a solid drive for them. The Browns had one of the weirdest drafts of all time. Now, I agree with what they did in the first round. You know what I'm saying? But they could have had Shador and Trav if you think about it. But they get a first round pick for next year from Jacksonville. They draft Mason Graham in the spot where he was gonna go regardless. Even if the Jags wouldn't have traded out, they probably would have took him. Mason Graham, you know what I'm saying, on the same D line as Myles Garrett. I feel like that's gonna eat. Carson Schlesinger was one of my favorite linebackers heading into this class. I had him as my LB4 behind what's his name? Damn, I forgot his name. It'll come back to me when I do the rest of this. But they drafted Quinshawn Judkins. I thought they were going Travion Henderson. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Judkins and Dylan Sampson in the same backfield is absolutely insane. I'm not gonna lie. The mixture of size and speed with both of them. And Quinshawn Judkins, like, he's not just fast. He'll run you over too, bro. He's a big back. Like, real shit. And Dylan Sampson's a speed freak. Not gonna lie, bro. If you turn on his tape, bro, once he sees a crease, he's gone. And that's something Cleveland really needs. You know what I'm saying? They lost Nick Chubb. They gained 2 really good backs in the process. Harold Fannin Jr. I kind of don't understand why they drafted him. But him and Njoku on the same team, this is kind of like Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. Browns trying to copy us for real, bro. Browns, y'all think y'all slick, bro. We know what the fuck y'all doing. But this is where the draft starts to get tricky. They were definitely trolling Shador Sanders the whole draft. And I think Dylan Gabriel was just a huge smokescreen, bro. Because why in hell would you draft Dylan Gabriel over Shador Sanders? I understand people think Shador is cocky. You know what I'm saying? He's arrogant. He's a daddy's boy and all this. He had everything made for him. And some of that might be true. But you can't deny how talented he is, bro. You know what I'm saying? What him and Trav did for Colorado. And people want to bring up, oh, well, they went 13-12 or 13-11. They didn't deserve to get their jerseys, you know what I'm saying, retired. Nigga, shut the fuck up. Like, bro, niggas just be chatting. You don't have to win bowl games and win a fucking national championship to get your damn jersey retired. Trav, he won the Heisman, you know what I'm saying? And if Shador didn't have a horrible offensive line, Colorado might have made a nice little playoff run, especially if their defense wasn't ass. Their defense was ass too, bro. But if Shador had a decent offensive line, I don't think we're having this conversation about him being a 5th round pick, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck. And what's crazy, he still had a great year with 4,000 yards, I think 27 touchdowns to 10 picks, and most of that, You know what I'm saying? Most of his picks, I feel like, came because of offensive line not blocking for him. He had to get rid of it. He does hold onto the ball a little too long. I understand that. But the Browns quarterback room, if you would have told me before the offseason started that the Browns would have Deshaun Watson, who's most likely not playing, he retore his Achilles. Deshaun Watson, Joe Shiesty, a.k.a. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Super Bowl champion. That shit sound weird to say. Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders in the same quarterback room. If you told me that, I would have looked at you like you were stupid and I would have called the police on your ass. Real shit. What the fuck are the Browns doing, bro? And like, that's going to be one hell of a quarterback battle. And I'm going to be so for real, I don't see Kenny Pickett making the roster. Real shit. Because if you want Shador or Dylan Gabriel to be your quarterback of the future, you will keep Joe Flacco on the roster to tutor them. Real shit. And to mentor them. But that was just crazy. I'm going to keep it a buck, bro. I'm going to give the Browns, like, because they did, I'm going to keep it, but they had some good picks. Mason Graham, Carson Schlesinger, Quinshawn Judkins, Harold Fannin, Dylan Sampson, and Shador was a fucking steal. I don't care, bro. Shador was a steal. I'm going to give the Browns, I'm going to give them a B, bro. I'm going to give them a B. You know what I'm saying? And the value of them getting Shador in the 5th round, bro, which he shouldn't have made it, by the way. Like, it's crazy how he was blackballed. And for the nigga who called Shador prank phone calling him, you a fucking loser, bro. Like, real shit. That's lame as hell. Calling him, pretending to be the Saints general manager, bro. Telling him we're going to be drafting you, but you're going to have to wait. Niggas be lame as hell, bro. Just trust and believe karma gonna come back and bite you in your ass, nigga. Real shit. But the Browns had a solid draft. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm gonna give them a B plus. I'm gonna give them a B plus. That's gonna be my final grade for them, because this right here really fucked them up for getting an A for me, cause they could have been drafted Shador in the 3rd round. I'm gonna be so honest with y'all, bro. Okay, next up we got the Cowboys. Cowboys had a good ass draft too, bro. I could confidently say, I could confidently say, I'm going to give the Cowboys, I'm going to give them an A+. I'm not going to lie, I'm going to give them an A+, bro. Tyler Booker, a mauler in the run game. And because of the fact that Zach Martin retired, they took one of the best guards in the draft. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Booker is the real deal. And what's crazy is, now the Cowboys have 3 offensive linemen named Tyler. Tyler Guyton, they drafted last year. Tyler Booker from this year. And Tyler Smith from a few years ago. They love a black nigga named Tyler. I tell you that, bro. But all of them are dogs, bro. You know what I'm saying? All of them are dogs. And especially Tyler Booker. And speaking of dogs, what a steal they got in Donovan Ezeraku, bro. You know, they lose DeMarcus Lawrence to free agency. They lost him to the Seahawks. You add another dominant edge rusher opposite side of Micah Parsons, which y'all should definitely keep him now, so y'all can have a terrorizing edge rush duo of the future with him and Ezeraku. Ezeraku is one of my favorite players in this draft. He was easily edge rusher 3 for me. You know what I'm saying? Behind Abdul Carter and Mike Green. 16.5 sacks. His production. He's got a crazy pass rush bag, bro. He has long arms. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the ones, bro. He's a great run defender. I like Donovan Ezeraku, and they got an absolute steal with him in the 2nd round, because he could have definitely won the 1st round. You know what I'm saying? But he ended up falling for some odd reason and ended up being a steal for the Cowboys. Speaking of steals, Savone Revel. If he didn't tear his ACL, he's a bona fide 1st round pick, bro. Bona fide 1st round pick. He only played in 3 games in 2024. He had 2 picks out of those 3 games. And it looks like he was about to have one of the greatest cornerback seasons of all time, bro. And now if you look back at his 2023 tape, he balled out. And it looked like he was about to reduplicate that this past season. But, you know, tore his ACL. Now, that's a bit of a knock on him right now. You know what I'm saying? It's his injury concerns, because he has had some of the worst luck when it comes to injuries. You know what I'm saying? I think he had a car crash when he was younger. I think he broke his arm or whatever, tearing ACL. He's just had the worst luck when it came to injuries. But if he stays healthy, the Cowboys are gonna have a nice you know what I'm saying, cornerback trio with him, Bland, and Diggs. That's if they stay healthy. They got a problem staying healthy too. So if all three of them can stay healthy at the same time, I think that Dallas defense is gonna look really good. And a lot of people were definitely confused on why the Cowboys took two running backs. I'll tell you now. Miles Sanders, not good at all. Not good at all, bro. Javonte Williams, and both of them are on a 1-year deal, by the way. Javonte Williams, he might be washed up too. Now his knee injury definitely ruined his you know what I'm saying, his progression. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think he's gonna be anything for them. They drafted Jaden Blue, who's not gonna be a RB1. He's not an RB1 type player. You know what I'm saying? I think him and Maffa are gonna split carries, and that's gonna be their thunder and lightning, bro. You know what I'm saying? Jaden Blue is blazing fast, and Phil Maffa will run you the fuck over like a Mack truck, nigga. Real shit. I like those two picks for them. You know what I'm saying? And Dallas, they really missed the run game last year. Now, Rico Dowdle had one of the quietest 1,000-yard rushing seasons of all time, but it took them halfway through the season to finally name him RB1. You know, but I think Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa are definitely going to be their RB duo of the future. But who knows, bro? Who knows if Miles Sanders makes the roster? Who knows if Javonte Williams makes the roster? Hell, who knows if Phil Maffa or Jaden Blue makes the roster? You know what I'm saying? You never know. But I'll give the Cowboys an A+ for their draft, man. Okay, we got the Denver Broncos. They had a very interesting draft, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna give them a B. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give them a B. They had a really good draft for me. Starting off with Jahdae Barron, him and PS2 are gonna be great together, bro. Now, I don't think Jahdae Barron's gonna be an outside corner. He can with his, you know what I'm saying, IQ and ball skills, but he's undersized. They may use him how the Lions use Brian Branch. You know what I'm saying? It's more of that nickel / safety, you know what I'm saying, player. But Jahdae Barron is an all-around great player. He's always around the ball. He's always making plays. You know what I'm saying? I think he ran in the 4.3s at the combine. He is a terrific player, man. Easily one of the best defensive backs in this draft class. I wasn't really that high on Jahdae Barron. You know what I'm saying? I had him under Benjamin Morrison, in my opinion, bro. Cause when Benjamin Morrison is healthy, he would have been a first round pick, 100%. But that's not a knock on Jahdae Barron. You know what I'm saying? He's a great, phenomenal player. And I think this Denver defense is going to be phenomenal. RJ Harvey was a bit of a shock to me, bro, to go in the second round. I thought it was gonna go later, you know what I'm saying? On day 3, in my opinion. He's a great running back, don't get me wrong, but I feel like there was a lot better options on the board than RJ Harvey, but this is a great option for them. They got an interesting running back room right now with him, Estime, Jaleel McLaughlin. So it's gonna probably be a running back by committee this year for them. But hey, and another steal, bro. Pat Bryant, so underrated, bro. You know what I'm saying? He really doesn't drop the ball for real, and he's great after the catch. I watched a couple of Illinois games last year, bro. I think it was the game against Purdue. He was going crazy. I think that's when I really started to figure out more about him, bro. He's one of them ones. And the Broncos wide receiver room right now, it could definitely be upgraded. You know, Sutton, hella underrated. Marvin Mims, like, he's starting to really become a great second option. After that, it's not much. Troy Franklin, he didn't really have a good rookie year. You know what I'm saying? Vele, he was solid, but I think he's upgradable. Pat Bryant might end up being wide receiver 3 this season. Who knows? But Savion Jones, edge out of LSU, that's a solid pickup. Q Robinson from Alabama. He didn't really do much for us, and he wasn't really on the field as much either. You know what I'm saying? Especially with Dallas Turner and Will Anderson being in front of him. But I think he was gonna be a solid player. You know what I'm saying, in the NFL. They drafted a punter and they drafted a tight end out of Utah. But this is a pretty solid draft for them. I've ranked it a B. You know what I'm saying? I give it a B. But Broncos, bro, y'all might, hey, I got y'all winning the division this year, so don't make me look like an idiot, my nigga. Okay, next up, we got the Detroit Lions. Now, they had a very interesting draft. Tyleik Williams, he definitely deserved to go in the first round. Don't get me wrong, but I felt like they should have went edge rusher, you know what I'm saying, in the first round. Because Aiden Hutchinson, I don't even know if he's even 100% yet ready to come back week 1. So I thought they should have went Donovan Ezaraku, but they saw a lot more in Tyleik Williams, and him and Aleem McNeil side by side. That's gonna be dangerous. And Tyleik Williams has a lot of upside as a pass rusher. You know what I'm saying? Along that dangerous Ohio State D line. He's gonna be an interesting piece in that defense, bro. And I think he's gonna be a contributor right away for them. They drafted Tate Ratledge, was an interesting pick for them. Ratledge was a very good guard for Georgia, bro. Definitely their leader of that offensive line. He's a solid pickup for them, not gonna lie, because they definitely needed interior offensive line, bro, badly, and it showed against the Commanders, bro. Isaac Tesla, don't know who that is. Miles Frazier, don't know who that is. Don't know who this is right here, not gonna lie. Dominic Lovett is very interesting too, bro. He might end up being a solid third option. You know what I'm saying? He was one of the best receivers for Georgia last year, which is not really saying much because they didn't really have a true number 1 wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? Anaya Smith, was it Anaya? Yeah, Anaya Smith, right? Yeah, I think Anaya Smith. No, Arian Smith. He was pretty much their deep threat. You know what I'm saying? And Lovett was more of their I guess you could say Lovett was their number 1 receiver, but that Georgia offense was weird. But the Lions, I'll give them a B minus, bro. I'm gonna give them a B minus, not gonna lie. Next up, we got the Packers. The Packers, they killed the draft. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Starting off with Matthew motherfucking Golden. Packers did something they haven't done since, what, 2002 or whatever, bro. They took a receiver in the first round. Matthew Golden, one of my favorite receivers in this class, bro. Easily wide receiver 2 for me. You know what I'm saying? I love Matthew Golden, you know, and it's crazy how he wasn't really getting much love until towards the end of the year for Texas. You know what I'm saying? When they really started to use him a lot more, and their offense started to more incorporate him in it more than Isaiah Bond. You know what I'm saying? Bond, he couldn't stay healthy for shit. You know what I'm saying? And him and Ewers just really didn't have that connection like that. But Golden, he doesn't drop the ball at all. Doesn't drop the ball. Does all the little things right. You know what I'm saying? Does the dirty work. And I think he's definitely gonna be great for them this year because they really, 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 really need a wide receiver one. I cannot stress that enough, bro. Their receiving core was just a bunch of wide receiver 2s and 3s with Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jalen Reed, Bo Melton, Malik Heath, you know what I'm saying? And Christian Watson is going to most likely miss most of the season with a torn ACL. But Matthew Golden is going to be a great contributor to this offense. Anthony Belton was kind of a reach at this spot, not going to lie, but you got to protect Jordan Love, so I'm not really mad at that pick for them. You know what I'm saying? But oh my gosh, hey Packers fans, if y'all don't know who Savion Williams is, go look up film right now. This guy is a bona fide playmaker. He is Deebo Samuel on crack, cause he's actually a real receiver, bro. Not a knock on Deebo, you know what I'm saying? But Deebo only had one good year. But Savion Williams, he can run the ball like Deebo, maybe better than Deebo. And he's a really good receiver, but that's not even the scary part about him. He's 6'5", and I think what he runs at 4.4. This nigga is the real deal, and I feel like this is something that the Packers have really missed in their offense on gadget plays, bro. You know what I'm saying? They could really fuck up defenses on jet sweeps, end arounds. Shit, have him and Josh Jacobs in the backfield at the same time. And Savion Williams ran Wildcat a lot for TCU last year. So he's gonna be a real threat for y'all, man. I'm not gonna lie. Another still though, Baron Sorrell. I expected him to go on day 2. You know what I'm saying? He was very good for Texas last year. I'm not gonna lie, very good. Along with Anthony Hill and Colin Simmons. You know what I'm saying? Baron Sorrell so good, and they really needed to beef up the pass rush, bro. Cause Rashawn Gary had a down year. They're still waiting for what's the dude y'all drafted in the first round a couple years ago? I forgot his name. The nigga from Iowa. I forgot his name though. But y'all still waiting for him to break out. But I feel like Baron Sorrell might step in right away and become a real starter for y'all. But I'm not gonna lie. But this was a solid draft for them. I don't really know too much about these 4 guys right here, but I'm gonna give them an A. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna give the Packers an A for this. Oh my gosh, we want to talk about teams who absolutely killed the draft. The fucking Texans started off. They traded back out of the first round, and that didn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? Now they should have went offensive line a lot more. They went Ariante Ursery, which I called that pick, by the way. You know what I'm saying? He was obviously the best offensive tackle on the board, but they still need another tackle. You know what I'm saying? They traded away Laramie Tunsil for God knows why. But, you know what I'm saying? Ursery's a great fill-in for him. Drafting Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, who were Iowa State teammates. Both of them went over 1,000 yards this past season. And for them to come in and play right away behind Nico Collins, that's dangerous. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. And to pair with another Iowa State receiver and what's his name, bro? I forgot his name. The other Iowa State guy they already have on their roster. I forgot his name, but I mean, not having Tank Dell look like it's not gonna be a problem, bro. You know, Jalen Noel, who most likely will play in the slot, but he can play on the outside as well. You know what I'm saying? He has great hands. And him and Higgins, bro, formed one of the greatest wide receiver duos at Iowa State, bro. Not gonna lie to you. Maybe even in college football history. Well, that might be a little far-fetched, but both of them went over 1,000 yards. You know what I'm saying? But hey, that Texans offense look like it's not gonna skip a beat, bro, with those two. Jalen Smith, I feel like was a solid pickup. Woody fucking Marks. Him and Joe Mixon are going to be a great running back duo. I'm not even going to lie. Not even going to lie, bro. Woody Marks is so fast in game. Now, his 40 time wasn't really that good. I was expecting to run a little faster. But his in-game speed, oh my gosh. This nigga is fast. Real stuff. And then when Joe Mixon ends up, you know what I'm saying, leaving or when he retires because he is getting older. You know what I'm saying? You know running backs don't last that long in the league. Woody Marks will probably be ready to take over, bro. He is a RB1 type running back, you know what I'm saying? And him learning under Joe Mixon, I think will do him justice, not gonna lie. Now, one of my most underrated picks in this draft has to be Jalen Reed, bro. I don't know how he fell this far in the draft, you know what I'm saying? But pairing him back there with CJ Gardner-Johnson, Jalen Petrie, and Kalen Bullock. This Texans secondary is looking nasty. To go along with Cam Lassiter and Derek Stingley, bro. They got some studs back there. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. They got some dogs, man. And I feel like a lot of those guys can move around. I feel like Jalen Reed can play nickel, but he's gonna be a dog for them nonetheless, man. And that's a great steal. Graham Mertz is a solid backup. Luke Lachey, Iowa tight end. It's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. You know how good, you know what I'm saying, Iowa is with their tight ends, bro. You know what I'm saying? Get this shit off my screen. You know how good Iowa is with pumping out tight ends. George Kittle, Sam Laporta, you know what I'm saying, TJ Hawkinson, maybe Luke Lachey, you know what I'm saying, or Lackey, however you pronounce his name. Let's see how he turns out for them, man. But I'm gonna give the Texans an A+, bro. They absolutely killed the draft, not gonna lie. Next up, we got the Colts. The Colts are another team that killed the draft. I'm going to give them an A. Not going to lie. Starting off with Tyler Warren. I feel like that's the final piece that they were missing on their offense. They could have went guard too, but Tyler Warren is such a interesting prospect, bro, and generational prospect for them to give up, bro. So Tyler Warren, along with Michael Pittman, A.D. Mitchell, Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, you know what I'm saying, JT in the backfield, and whoever is gonna be their starting quarterback, whether it's Daniel Jones, AR, or the nigga who made it to the national championship last year in Riley Leonard. When they drafted Riley Leonard, I sat back and I was like, this is about to be an interesting QB battle, bro, in training camp. I'm not even gonna lie. Imagine Riley Leonard comes in and wins the starting job and the Colts somehow make it to the playoffs, which they have a good chance to, you know what I'm saying, in that division. But they're going to have to definitely beat the Texans. The Texans looking really good right now. I'm going to keep it a buck. But Riley Leonard, bro, if he comes in and starts right away, that'll be very interesting. And that could mean AR might end up being traded. Who knows? But that was a very interesting pick. JTT Tuamoliau, Polynesian Demon, they got themselves one-on-ones, bro. I'm not even going to lie. Him playing on opposite side of Leatu Latu, which Leatu Latu was, you know what I'm saying, kind of underwhelming last year, but he was still pretty solid. JTT just got better each and every year. 12.5 sacks this past season. You know what I'm saying? And I think the most famous game he had was against Penn State. He had a pick six. I think he had a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, 2 sacks. He was just all over the place, bro. You know what I'm saying? I think that was, 2022, I want to say. He was just going stupid. And JTT was one of my favorite players heading into this draft. I kind of want him to be a Raven, not going to lie. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't think we were going to be in position to take Mike Green. You know what I'm saying? But JTT is going to be a stud, bro. I could definitely see him being a 10-sack guy, you know what I'm saying, in his rookie year. Maybe even in his sophomore year, but he's gonna be one-on-ones for sure. Justin Wiley, I feel like it was an underrated pick for them. DJ Giddens, this running back class, man, I told y'all was in fucking insane, and DJ Giddens and JT on the same team in the same backfield. Hey, you thought JT was a home run hitter? DJ Giddens is that guy as well, bro. And that'll be interesting to see how they cycle those two backs, bro. But that's gonna be a nice 1-2 punch. I'm not even gonna lie. But Tim Smith out of Alabama, Roll Tide. I kind of like that pick. Not gonna lie. Hunter Wohler. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know who this is, but hey, bro, the Colts they had a good ass draft, bro. I'm gonna give them a. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna give the Colts a A+. They killed the draft. I'm gonna keep it a buck, man. Okay, next up we got the Jags. The Jags, they gave up a lot to trade up for Travis Hunter, including the first round pick next year, number 5 from this year to get Travis Hunter. But it was worth it. I'm not gonna lie, bro. You're getting a two-way player. Now I think the Jags will be playing him on both sides of the ball. It's just, does he play every single snap both sides of the ball? I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be incredibly hard to do that on a 17-game basis compared to, a 12-game basis in college. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying, just less or more than that, depending on if you make it all the way to the national championship. But that was a great pickup for them. I feel like this is a perfect fit for them. You know what I'm saying? They really needed a true number 2 receiver behind BTJ. They needed a number 1 corner. You know, and he checks out both of those boxes for them. Maybe this will open up Trevor Lawrence, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? And what's really great about this pick, he goes back home to Florida where he was born. I think he's from West Palm Beach, if I'm not mistaken. So, hey, he gets to go back where he was born, bro. You know what I'm saying? In Florida. That was a great pick for them. Caleb Ransaw, I don't think I know who that is. Keep it a buck. Wyatt Milan was a solid pickup. Bashal Tootin was very interesting in the 4th round, bro. Not gonna lie. Now, does this mean that ETN is gone? Because they also drafted LaQuint Allen. They already have Jarquez Hunter, bro. Tank Bigsby. They already got Tank Bigsby, who outplayed Travis Etienne last year. So we could see Travis Etienne traded. Bayshell too, and is a great home run hitter. You know what I'm saying? Blazing speed. He was the fastest running back at the combine. Ran the 4.3s. So he's definitely gonna make the roster. But LaQuint Allen is definitely interesting because he's kind of like Travis Etienne, but I think a little bit better. He's kind of like a hybrid running back / wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be very interesting to see how the Jags play him. Maybe they can play him in the slot. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, however they want to play him. But it's gonna be very interesting to see how they play him. But the Jags, they had a solid draft. I'm gonna give them a B plus. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna give them a B plus. Next up, we got the Chiefs. I hate to admit it, bro. Chiefs had a great draft. I'm gonna give them an A plus, bro. I'm gonna give them an A plus. As much as I hate to do it, they got Josh Simmons at 32. Now, if he wouldn't have tore his patella tendon, he would have been a top 10, top 15 pick, hands down. He probably would have been the best tackle in this draft if he wouldn't have got hurt. But he fell to 32. They even traded back a spot with Philly and still drafted him. They really needed a tackle. And I saw a lot of Chiefs fans booing. Nigga, y'all needed him. There was no way y'all were going to feel comfortable with Jalen Moore as your starting tackle heading into the season. There's just no way, bro. There's just no way. You know, and he's not even a starter, bro. He was a backup for Trent Williams. And he's most likely going to continue to be a backup behind Josh Simmons because I do not see him playing over him. Real stuff. You know what I'm saying? But that was a steal for them. Omar Norman Lott, I didn't start hearing about him before like about a week ago. I think he's a solid pickup for them. I got to, you know what I'm saying, do more research. But this pick right here, Ashton Gelati, very underrated pick for them because, boy, they trying to build that D-line. They really trying to build that D-line, man. You know what I'm saying? They already got, obviously, Chris Jones. They have, who else? George Karlaftis. Now, the edge rusher they drafted a couple years ago in the first round, I forgot his name, bro. But he hasn't really lived up to his potential so far. So I think Ashton Gelati is a very great pick for them in this spot. But I'm not gonna lie, I was so mad at this pick. Who the fuck allowed them to get Jalen Royals? So electric, especially with the ball in his hands. They already got Rashee Rice. They got Xavier Worthy. They got Hollywood Brown. Who the fuck allowed them to get Jalen Royals? I'm not gonna lie, bro. That pissed me off so much, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck. That pissed me off so much. But Jalen Royals is a dog. I don't want to have to hate this nigga because of the Chiefs, but that was a great pickup for them. Jeffrey Bassa, another underrated great pickup for them. But also, Pacheco might be out the door, man. Pacheco might be out the door because I could have sworn they signed another running back in free agency. They brought back Kareem Hunt. They drafted Brashard Smith, who is also another hybrid running back / receiver. This is going to be very interesting to see what happens with Pacheco. But Brashard Smith is a dog, man. And the Chiefs, they killed the draft, man. Like, I hate to admit it, but they killed the draft, bro. What the fuck, bro? Like, god damn, bro. The rich get richer. This shit is crazy, man. Like, I don't know how the fuck they do it every year, but they definitely get an A plus, man. Okay, next up we got the Raiders. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm gonna give the Raiders a B. I'm gonna give the Raiders a B, bro. Genty, it was a no-brainer. They were gonna draft him, bro. They needed a run game. They really missed Josh Jacobs last year. And him and Raheem Mostert, running back duo, Thunder and Lightning. And Genty has home run speed too. But him and Raheem Mostert, that's going to be a nice running back duo. And this is the thing I've been talking about the whole offseason with them. I said they should have took T-Mac. They didn't. You know what I'm saying? They took Genty. I said they needed more weapons for Geno Smith. They needed more weapons. They doubled down. Jack Best, great pick. underrated pick, bro. Not gonna lie. This is not being talked about enough. This guy catches everything. He a slant route demon, I'll tell you that. He a slant route demon, and Geno needs a big body receiver. You know what I'm saying? This could be his DK Metcalf, but he's not nearly as fast as DK, but a big body receiver. You know what I'm saying? Darian Porter, another great pick for them. I think he was, 6'4", tall corner. They needed a corner. You know what I'm saying? They lost Nate Hobbs. That's a great pickup from them. Don't know who this is. Dante Thornton. I wanted him to be a Raven so badly. One, because he's from Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? And this nigga is 6'5", and I think he ran, a 4.3 or 4.2. He is a home run big play threat. And that's something they needed. And that receiving core now is looking good. Jack Best as most likely wide receiver 1. Or Jacoby Myers is definitely underrated. So it could be him as wide receiver 1. But Thornton most likely probably will be in the slot. You know what I'm saying? They also have Trey Tucker. They also have Brock Bowers from last year. Michael Mayer. That offense is low-key looking nice. I'm not even going to lie, bro. They're looking nice right now. JJ McGee's underrated pick for them. I wanted him as a Raven. You know what I'm saying? Along with that Ole Miss defensive line, they had so many studs. But that was a great pick. The Raiders, man, they killed the draft, man. They really did. You know what I'm saying? They really did. I'm a final grade for them. Because they really got needs and wants in this draft, bro. I might bump this up to an A. I'm gonna bump this up to an A, bro. They really did good in this draft class. I'm not even gonna lie. Next up, we got the Chargers. The Chargers killed the draft. Instant A+. Off the rip, Omarion Hampton. A lot of people were questioning this pick. Najee Harris only here for 1 year, and he's not really nothing special. Even though he's had a 1,000-yard rushing season, every season of his career, he's averaged at best 3.5 yards a carry. You know what I'm saying? He's nothing special. He's not a home run threat. I think his longest rush was like 30 yards in his career. Omarion Hampton is going to be RB1. RB1 of the future. A big home run threat. He bounces off tacklers. Gives you flexibility out of the backfield as a catcher. He is going to be so good for them. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a Greg Roman offense. You know he loves his running backs. And they did what I wanted them to do so much in this draft class. And that is go out and get Herbert more weapons. You had Ladd McConkey. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? Great receiver. Most likely just going to stick in the slot. Quentin Johnston. Just so underwhelming, bro. He's so ass. He drops everything. Even though he had 800 yards last year, he drops everything. They brought back Mike Williams. He's old. You know what I'm saying? Trey motherfucking Harris. I've been a huge Trey Harris fan for the last 2 to 3 years. Big play potential. Great after the catch. Reliable hands. 50-50 jump ball demon. It's more like 90-10 when he goes up and gets the ball, bro. You know what I'm saying? Rarely drops it. And then they also went out and got KLS. I was mad at this pick too because I low-key wanted him. Very underrated pick, Keandre Lambert-Smith. You know what I'm saying? They got a nice looking receiving core right now. You know what I'm saying? And another underrated pick right here was Kyle Kennard. Didn't get enough praise in this draft process, bro. He had double-digit sacks this past season at South Carolina. His best season. I think he transferred to South Carolina as well. This will most likely be their Khalil Mack replacement of the future. For right now, is Joey Bosa replacement, but their Khalil Mack replacement of the future. They brought Khalil Mack back on a 1-year deal. Kyle Kennard is gonna be that guy, bro. Especially with Khalil Mack mentoring him, he's gonna be one of them ones. They went out and drafted Rondé Gaston as well. They needed a good tight end, bro, because Will Dissly last year, he was solid, but what he did in the playoffs was just insane. I'm not even gonna lie. That drop to the interception was crazy. But Rondé Gaston, you know what I'm saying? I think he's the son of former I forgot what team his dad played for, but you know what I'm saying? He's a second generation tight end, bro. So I think he's one of the best tight ends in this class, bro. This tight end class was so deep as well. You know what I'm saying? I think he's gonna fit in well in this Greg Roman style offense. And yeah, RJ Mickens was also. I'm surprised RJ Mickens fell to the 6th round. Not gonna lie, I thought he was gonna go on day 2. maybe early day 3, but he ended up going to 6th round. An absolute steal. They got a nice little secondary back there. I'm not gonna lie, bro. But they also drafted a cornerback in Bridges. I don't know who that is. They lost Asante Samuel. I'm surprised they didn't go corner sooner in the draft. They still could go out and sign Kobe Bryant. You know what I'm saying? But hey, the Chargers get an A+ for me, man. I'm not even gonna lie. Next up, we got the Rams. The Rams had a pretty solid draft. I'm gonna give them a B. You know what I'm saying? They fulfilled needs. They didn't really have to do too much. They needed a tight end of the future. Not Dallas Goedert. Oh my gosh. What's his fucking name? Tyler Higbee. Tyler Higbee's getting older. Terrence Ferguson is a dog. You know what I'm saying? Barely drops the football. Rarely that happens. You know what I'm saying? He had the record for most tight ends for I said tight end. The most touchdowns for a tight end in Oregon history. You know what I'm saying? Phenomenal tight end. He's great in finding his spot, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's not the most amazing athlete, but he is still just an all-around great tight end, great reliable target. You know what I'm saying? Josiah Stewart, very underrated draft pick for them, bro. And they just continue to add more and more depth on that D-line, gang. You know what I'm saying? Like they already got Byron Young, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Kobe Turner. They did lose Michael Hoyt, so this might be his replacement right here. Josiah Stewart's so good for Michigan last year, and Michigan was just so bad. You know what I'm saying? Especially that offense, but the defense is somewhat good every year. Even though Will Johnson got hurt, but Josiah Stewart playing on you know what I'm saying, the same D-line as Mason Graham, as Kenneth Grant, 2 first-round picks. Of course, he's going to get overshadowed. But when I did watch Michigan, bro, he definitely stuck out to me, especially the first couple games of the season. I think this is a definite steal. And speaking of steals, Jarquez Hunter, another Auburn Tiger, bro. Last year was Tank Bigsby. This year's Jarquez Hunter, absolute home run hitter. So this is very interesting too, because they already got Kyron Williams. They drafted Blake Corum last year. I wonder if they're gonna do a running back by committee, or if Kyron Williams might be out the door, which I could see happening because he fumbles a lot. You know what I'm saying? That could be a big reason. But I don't know, bro. I don't know. This might be an interesting running back room right here, but it's a very interesting draft for them. I'm gonna give them a B. You know, that's gonna be my final grade for them. I feel like it was solid. Didn't, you know what I'm saying, wasn't too much. Ty Hamilton was also a solid pickup for them. Ohio State, bro. They had 14 draft picks, bro. That shit is crazy. But they had a pretty solid draft. I'm not gonna lie. A B is gonna be my final grade for them. Next up, we got the Dolphins, bro. They took Kenneth Grant, who I had my as my D-line, my DT2, not DT2, DT3 behind Grant. I said Grant. Behind Nolan and Mason Graham, you know what I'm saying? Played opposite side of Mason Graham on the D-line, right next to him. Kenneth Grant has a lot of upside as a pass rusher. This could be their Christian Wilkins replacement. You know what I'm saying? They missed him last year after he went to the Raiders. This could be a really good pick for them, or it could be a bust. You know what I'm saying? He has high you know what I'm saying, bust potential, but he also has a whole lot of upside to be so good. He's mainly just a space eater right now, but he has such high upside as a pass rusher, bro. You know what I'm saying? But this is a good pick for them. Jonah Savaiinaya was a very good pick as well. They need to protect Tua. Surprised they didn't go O-line in the first you know what I'm saying, the first round with Josh Simmons, or you know what I'm saying, somebody like that. But Jonah Savaiinaya is a great flexible guard. He also played right tackle at AZ as well, so he gives them flexibility along the offensive line. I like this pick for them, not gonna lie. Jordan Phillips, also a very underrated draft pick. He could have went on day 3, not gonna lie. He could have went on day 3, but fell to the 5th round. Great pickup for Miami. He's gonna form a pretty nice defensive tackle duo with him and Kenneth Grant. Jason Marshall, staying in Florida, very underrated corner for me. You know what I'm saying? They really need a corner bad. Opposite side of Jalen Ramsey. That's if they don't trade him, because there's a strong possibility that might happen. I like Kader Kohu. You know what I'm saying? Cam Smith, yeah, he hasn't really done much yet, but that's it. The cornerback room is looking okay right now. They could still go out and do something to upgrade that. Asante Samuel's still available. They could bring back Xavier Howard if they wanted, but I highly doubt that'll happen. But Ollie Gordon was a very interesting pick as well. They added some power to that fast running back room. They got Jalen Wright, obviously Devon Achane, adding power like Ollie Gordon. It's crazy how he could have been a first round pick, bro, but he wasn't eligible to come into the draft last year. If he would have had a great year last year, he probably would have been a first round pick. You know what I'm saying? But he did add some weight, and that probably hurt his production a lot because he looked a lot slower. But if he slims down a little bit and gets that speed back, we might be talking about something here. And this is probably the most intriguing pick of the whole draft. Quinn Ewers was falling the whole draft for some reason. We had Tyler Shuck, how you pronounce the name? Tyler Shuck, taken before him. Cam Miller, Curtis Rourke, taken before him. Like, what the fuck was up with Quinn Ewers, bro? Him and Shador had to have done some foul shit in their interviews or something. And I know Quinn Ewers had a pretty down year last year. He still was pretty solid, in my opinion. They made it to the not national championship. They made it to the playoffs, beat SU. You know what I'm saying? Had a pretty nice playoff run, but this is very intriguing because of the fact that Tua can never stay healthy. If Tua gets hurt again, and Quinn Ewers steps in, balls out, and somehow, let's say, takes Miami deep in the playoffs, let's say to maybe the divisional round or AFC Championship, let's say, we might have to start having that talk about Tua. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. We might have to start having that talk because there's no way that Quinn Ewers is gonna be able to take them into a deep playoff run, and he's not able to. He doesn't even have a single playoff win yet. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Tua, you better ball out this year, bro. Because if not, and you get hurt, you might be gone, my nigga. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but this was a solid draft for the Dolphins. I'm gonna give them a B plus. You know what I'm saying? This is a pretty good draft for them. The Minnesota Vikings, man. They had an okay draft too. Donovan Jackson, they desperately needed to upgrade the offensive line after what happened in the wild card round last year, especially in the interior. But Donovan Jackson gives you flexibility, bro. You know what I'm saying? Guard and tackle. He stepped in very well for Josh Simmons last season when he tore his patella. It was kind of surprising, you know what I'm saying, to see how good he was at tackle, but he was really good. And the Vikings did lose Will Fries. You know what I'm saying? They lost Will Fries, but they are getting yo. Big Soup, appreciate that sub, my boy. But he did they did lose Will Fries, like I said. They're getting what's their tackle's name, bro? He had a crazy leg injury last year. Damn, bro, why am I blanking on his name, bro? Christian Darrisaw. They getting him back, you know what I'm saying? So they offensive line might be looking a lot better than, you know what I'm saying, when they win against the Rams, but the Rams have a crazy defensive line rotation, so not really surprised they got mauled, but it could have been a lot better for Sam Darnold. But they're going to make sure that J.J. McCarthy is very well protected, you know what I'm saying? And they got him another weapon too, Ty Felton, a great slot receiver, you know what I'm saying, pretty good deep threat. And that's going to be a nice little fourth option at receiver behind Jettis, Addison, Naylor, you know what I'm saying? Oh, they also signed Rondale Moore too. Somebody did tell me that. Our wide receiver core looking nice, not gonna lie. I feel like they could have done a lot more, but they didn't really have that many picks. They only had 5. But for the picks that they did make, I don't want to give anybody a C yet. I'm gonna give them a B minus. I'm gonna give them a B minus because they did have some good picks. It's not much you can do with just 5 draft picks. You know what I'm saying? A lot of teams had 11 and 10 and stuff like that, so it's kind of hard. to get all the best players when you only have a little bit of draft picks, but they did pretty solid for me, I'm not gonna lie. Next up, we got the New England Patriots, bro. They get an A- for me, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Will Campbell, we know how good he is. Ain't gotta talk about him much. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna stick out that tackle. He's not gonna be a guard. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna make sure nobody touches Drake May. Real shit. Travion Henderson shocked the hell out of me. Not gonna lie, because I thought this was gonna be a receiver right here. Like Luther Burden, he was still on the board. I thought it was gonna be a receiver, but Travion Henderson, very interesting. They got Ramondre Stevenson, so who knows how long he's gonna be there. He is fumble prone like hell. He fumbles the ball way too much, especially these last couple years. And they already got Antonio Gibson, who does the same exact thing. Fumble the damn rock. So Henderson, he has RB1 potential. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? And he was RB1 at Ohio State before Quinshon Judkins came in and they split carries. But he has home run potential, run right through you. He's built like a fucking brick shithouse, a fucking bowling ball. And he's gonna give that juice that New England's desperately been missing in the run game. Like, when was the last time that New England had an elite running game? You know what I'm saying? Since what? Like Garrett Blunt? You know what I'm saying? But Henderson was a great pick here. And talk about great picks. Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams is so fucking good, bro. Instantly becoming maybe wide receiver 1 for them. If we keeping it a buck, bro. He could have easily been a first or second round pick. You know what I'm saying? But needs and the amount of good receivers that were in front of him, you could honestly say that he was better than Luther Burden. Just saying, bro. Just watch film, watch the tape. This guy is so good. Blazing speed. You know what I'm saying? Ran a 4.4 flat, but his in-game speed, oh my gosh. That nigga's a blur. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. So the Patriots, they did a good job getting Drake May more weapons. Him, Diggs, and whoever's gonna be wide receiver 3. Whether it's Pop Douglas, Javon Baker, or Jalen Polk. I'm really hoping Jalen Polk really develops into something special, but who knows, bro. But they got a solid receiving core. Jarrett Wilson, easily the best center in the draft. That's a solid pickup for them. Craig Woodson, Josh Farmer. I'm definitely surprised that he went on day 3 instead of day 2. But very underrated pick for them. They're really building that D line, bro. Milton Williams, Harold Landry, Keon White. Hopefully he can, develop into something special. Braden Swinson, kind of an underrated pick. Hopefully he can, contribute something to them. They drafted a kicker. Everything else I really don't. Oh yeah, Mr. Irrelevant and Kobe Minor. Okay, but they had a pretty good draft, bro. I'm gonna give them a final grade for them. They did really good. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna give them an A. I'm gonna give them an A, bro. I'm gonna give the Patriots an A. Real shit. They did really good. Next up, we got the fucking Saints. I'm gonna keep it a buck, my nigga. I don't want to give them a C. I mean, Kelvin Banks is a great pick. Don't get me wrong. Great pick. Phenomenal pick. You need to protect the quarterback. I get that. Taking Tyler Shuck in the 2nd round over Shadur? Absolute brain dead. I'm sorry. Real shit. Brain dead. Did y'all see the fucking throws he made at the fucking combine? And then the underhanded interception he threw, bro. That clip is going viral right now on Twitter. I can't believe they did that. I'm going to keep it a buck. Jonas Sanker, great pick for them. Hard-hitting safety, you know what I'm saying? From my state, from Virginia. So, you know what I'm saying? I fuck with him. Danny Stutzman, great linebacker. Very instinctive. You know what I'm saying? Not the fastest, not the greatest athlete. But, you know what I'm saying? A great leader, great tackler. You know what I'm saying? Quincy Riley's a pretty solid pickup. Devin Neal and AK is going to be an interesting running back duo. I'm gonna give them a B minus. I'm gonna give them B minus because outside of Tyler Shuck, this was a pretty good draft for them. Banks they hit on. Hopefully Jonas Sanker, Stutzman, Riley, Devin Neal. You know what I'm saying? Don't know who these two are, but they had a pretty solid draft. Not gonna lie. Next up, we got the New York Giants. Not gonna lie, bro. they had a good ass draft. I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. They get an A from me. Abdul Carter, number 3 overall, the best player on the board at that time. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely arguable that he was the second best player in the draft class. You know what I'm saying? Abdul Carter's just a freak of nature. You know what I'm saying? Twitched up edge rusher. The lack of power, you know what I'm saying, it was, you know what I'm saying, a concern, but I don't think that's going to be a problem for him. He has a great ghost move. Does stay on the ground too long, you know what I'm saying, for an elite edge rusher, but I think he's going to be able to fix that up alongside Brian Burns. You know what I'm saying? You got Kayvon Thibodeau in the rotation. You already got Dexter Lawrence. You add Darius Alexander to that. I'm not going to lie, that D-line is looking scary, bro. Now, the Giants did trade back up for Jackson Dart. A lot of people were questioning that. I think Dart's going to be just fine. Gets to sit behind Russell Wilson for a year, then take over, you know what I'm saying, his sophomore year. Because Dart is not ready to start right away. He is just not. You know what I'm saying? Sit a year. He has a lot of good traits. He has a good arm. You know what I'm saying? His decision making does need help. He has decent accuracy. You know, but he's a mobile quarterback, something that, you know what I'm saying, the Giants saw with Daniel Jones when they traded back up. Well, did they trade back up for Daniel Jones? I think they did. Yeah, they traded back up for Daniel Jones. You know what I'm saying? After drafting Dexter Lawrence. But I feel like Jackson Dart is gonna be a solid quarterback in the league, man. Real shit. Cam Scatterboo. Someone with home run hitting potential. Just a fucking pinball machine. This nigga is bouncing off tacklers. He's kind of like Genty, a white version of Ashton Genty in a way. You know what I'm saying? Just went crazy almost every game. And him and Tyrone Tracy might be looking like a pretty good running back duo. Marcus Bell, I feel like it was a solid pickup for them. They were really good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna give the Giants an A for this draft. Next up, we got the Jets. The Jets had a really good draft too. I'm gonna honestly give them an A as well. Actually, no, I'm gonna stick with an A because we're gonna talk about why. Mimbu, obviously great pick. They got 2 Nigerian tackles now with him and Olu Fashanu. They had to, you know, they lost Morgan Moses to the Patriots. Tyron Smith retired, and you didn't really have much after that. You know what I'm saying? So those two, I feel like, are gonna protect Fields so good this year, and allow him to throw the ball to his pass catchers, including Mason Taylor. They needed that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people had them taking Tyler Warren in the first round, but it was clear and obvious that they should have took tackle, which they did, and then take a tight end in the second round, which they took the third best one available, and that was Mason Taylor. You know what I'm saying? He was definitely my tight end 3 behind Loveland and Tyler Warren. Mason Taylor doesn't drop the ball. Great, he's great after the catch. You know what I'm saying? And when I was looking at the highlights and stuff, he was always open, bro. The scheme always had him open. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that he can, you know what I'm saying, get open at the NFL level, and it was not just the scheme that got him open. But he's a great high point, you know what I'm saying, catcher as well. Great reliable hands, bro. Like this dude's hands is like fucking stick 'em, like real shit. He does not drop the ball at all, and he's gonna be a reliable target for Justin Fields. Azariah Thomas, it's their DJ Reed replacement. They lost DJ Reed to the Lions. And a nice CB2 next to Sauce. You know, Azariah Thomas could have been a first round pick. There were some talks about him being a first round pick, but those died. He didn't even become a second round pick. But I like Azariah Thomas a lot. You know what I'm saying? I think the Jets got a steal with him. And speaking of steals, I think Arian Smith can end up being a steal too. Now, he got to clean up the drops. He had 10 this past season at Georgia, but he is a true deep threat. If they can really unlock him, if he can, you know what I'm saying, stop dropping the ball, he is going to be a nice weapon for them. And they don't really have a great receiving core right now. Obviously, Garrett Wilson's wide receiver 1. I don't know how much faith they got in Alan Lazard, especially after Aaron Rodgers left. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how he's going to ball out without A-Rod. They signed Josh Reynolds, but he's 30. They need to go out and get a undrafted free agent, or they need to just go out and get Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper or any of the good remaining wide receivers that are still in free agency. Malachi Moore was a great pickup too. This is a crash dummy. As an Alabama fan, I love this pick for y'all. I'm not gonna lie, crash dummy, great in zone coverage. You know what I'm saying? Pretty good in man. He's a hard hitting ass son of a bitch. I tell you that, my nigga. He loves bringing the fucking boom. Real shit. Y'all are getting a crash out indeed with that nigga. Tyler Barron, I feel like was a very underrated pick as well for them. They needed more help at pass rush, at edge rush. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how good Jermaine Johnson's gonna be coming off of that. What was it? Torn ACL. I think it was torn ACL, torn Achilles, one of them. Don't know how good he's going to be coming off of that. Will McDonald, he's showing some promise. Had a double-digit sack season last year. They got Quentin Williams up the gut, so like they got a lot of juice on that D line. So I think the Jets might hopefully be somewhat competitive. You know how they be every year, bro. As long as they add another receiver and maybe another piece in the secondary, I feel like they're gonna be just fine. But it's a solid draft. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna give them an A. Not gonna lie, this is a pretty good draft. No, I'm gonna give them an A minus. I'm gonna give them an A minus. Next up, we got the fucking Eagles. A plus, plus, plus. I don't know how the fuck they do it every year. They draft so fucking well. Jahad Campbell, absolute steal. He shouldn't have been there at 31. The main reason why he just had shoulder surgery after the combine. He might have a surgery on his other shoulder, I think, after the season. I think he was dealing with a foot injury or a knee injury, something like that. But he is going to be an absolute baller for y'all. Maybe a Swiss Army knife. He gives y'all some juice off the edge. Was a 5-star recruit at Bama. Roll Tide. You know what I'm saying? But we had so much pass rush depth that we had to find a way to get him on the field. So we told him to be an off-ball linebacker, and he balled out ever since. Great in open space. Great in coverage. Great tackler. His sideline-to-sideline speed is phenomenal. Great blitzer. He's just such a good player now. Him diagnosing plays isn't his strong suit, so he's not going to play Mike. He's most likely going to play Will, and him playing next to Zach Bond and them going out and get another Georgia Bulldog. This shit happens every year. They get a Georgia Bulldog, and Smile Munden is a dog, too. He's another great blitzer, you know what I'm saying? And they going to have a nice rotation at linebacker, bro. And then what's going to happen with Nakobe Dean, though? That's the thing. He always stays hurt, so maybe they let him go or trade him. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with him. They were really good, bro. But that's not even the main reason why I'm giving this an A++. Kyle McCord, obviously, great backup. Not talking about him. You know what I'm saying? Their 6th round pick. Now, for the uncultured out there, this motherfucker, APR, should not have been in the 6th round. He should have been gone off the board. Let me show you his stats real quick. Look at this shit right here. 16 sacks, and we allowed this motherfucker to fall to the damn Eagles. And he from the same city as me too, so I really wanted him to be a Raven. Like, real shit. The brother of one of my friends, you know what I'm saying? This nigga is a dog. 16 sacks, and we allow him to fall to the Eagles? Are we fucking serious? Bro, oh my gosh. You cannot make this shit up, gang. You cannot make this shit up. And that's exactly why the Eagles get an A++ for this shit, bro. Like, they can't keep getting away with this every year, my nigga. Next up, we got the Steelers. I'm not gonna lie, bro. They had a great draft. I'm gonna give them an A+. Bro. I know I'm a Ravens fan. I'm not gonna be doing any dick eating, any hating in this. They killed it from the very jump. Derek Harmon led all of FBS in defensive tackle pressures this past season. One of the best defensive linemen in this draft class. I had him as my defensive tackle 4. You know what I'm saying? But He could have definitely went before this pick. Not gonna lie, he could have definitely went before this pick, but he is a great player. You know what I'm saying? Great in the running game. And you know what I'm saying? RP to his mom. You know what I'm saying? She passed away right after he told her that he got drafted by the Steelers. So he gonna be playing through his mom this year, and he's gonna wreak fucking havoc. But the Steelers gotta fucking relax with defense. God damn. These motherfuckers went out and drafted Jack Sawyer as well. Like, we ain't gotta worry about enough white niggas that are basically black on y'all D line. TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig. Now we gotta worry about this motherfucker? I'm sorry, bro. Bro, oh my, this shit is pissing me off, gang, as a Ravens fan. We already got to deal with them niggas. Now we got to deal with this motherfucker right here, Jack Sawyer. Caleb Johnson was an absolute steal. Surprised he wasn't taken in the second round. Home run hitter. You know what I'm saying? This is what they thought Najee was going to be. Bounces off of so many tacklers. You know what I'm saying? I forgot what game it was where he broke off for like a huge run. Hold on, I'm gonna try to look that up. This is the play right here, bro. This play right here is what the Steelers are getting in Caleb Johnson.
Breaking tackles, moving defenders, and still going. Caleb Johnson, sprint for the end zone. That he will win. Touchdown, Iowa.
These motherfuckers got their own Derrick Henry now. Like, oh my gosh, him and Jalen Warren about to fuck shit up next year, bro. I'm not ready for that. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But also, they got their franchise guy in Will Howard. He might start right away, unless they sign Aaron Rodgers, which I probably think they will. You know, I don't think Will Howard's ready to start right away. I think he needs to sit, you know what I'm saying, behind a veteran for a year and then take over. But they got somebody who wins. He won at Kansas State. I think, was it Kansas State? I think it was K-State. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. He won at K-State, transferred to OSU. It was a little rocky at first, but he locked in and they were able to win a national championship because of the fact of how good he was. The running game, nothing was wrong with that. If the Ohio State Buckeyes was going to win the national championship, it all depended on how good Will Howard played. And he played phenomenal. And they won a national championship. And this kind of gives me Jalen Hurts vibes, not play style wise, but just of how he plays from the regular season compared to post. They might be getting that type of player, in my opinion. But the Steelers get an A+, bro. Not gonna lie. Next up, we got the Niners. Niners had a pretty good draft too. Michael Williams, production's not all the way there, but he was playing mostly hurt last year. You know what I'm saying? He was playing around like 60%, he said. But he has so many good traits, bro. Long arms. He's a freak athlete. Great in the run game. You know what I'm saying? If he can put his pass rush bag in there, if he can, you know, get to the quarterback more frequently and, you know, add some more key moves, he's gonna be a fucking unstoppable force in this league, bro. Especially with Nick Bosa on the other side. They drafted Alfred Collins, who I thought was an underrated pick. Nick Martin was another underrated pick as well. You lose Dre Greenlaw, go out and get Nick Martin. You know what I'm saying? He's a solid linebacker. Upton Stout, I don't know much about. CJ West, I've heard here and there. Don't know too much about him. But that boy, Jordan Watkins, y'all are getting yourselves a special treat, Niners fans. I'm telling you right now. You lose Debo, you gain a Jordan Watkins, great route runner, reliable hands. You know what I'm saying? This dude is really good. Playing the opposite side of Trey Harris at Ole Miss, one of those big key targets for Jackson Dart. He's going to be a pretty interesting piece to this offense. They already got, you know, Ricky Pearsall from last year. Ayuk is working back from a torn ACL, MCL, PCL, whatever the fuck that injury was. They still have Juwan Jennings, so that receiving core is still looking pretty solid. And then they also drafted Jordan Mason replacement. From one Jordan to another, Jordan James is the real deal. If you watched Oregon last year, the running game ran through him and Noah Whittington, and Jordan James has home run hitting ability, and him and CMC might be a nice little 1-2 punch, bro. Curtis Rourke, they could have Brock Purdy 2.0. Who knows if they're gonna re-sign Brock Purdy? But they had a pretty solid draft. I'm gonna give this a B plus. Not gonna lie, it's a pretty solid draft. You got some guys that can come in right away and start. Obviously Michael Williams, Alfred Collins, I feel like can come in and start. Nick Martin is gonna be a solid, rotational player. Jordan Watkins could start right away. Depending on what happens with Ayuk. Jordan James could come in and start as the number 2 back right away. They got some solid players. I don't know who Junior Burgeon is, but I might have to look into that. Not gonna lie, but they get a solid B plus from me. The Seattle fucking Seahawks. They did their big one. They getting an A plus from me. Not gonna lie. Gray Zabel. They needed to upgrade offensive line. They did it in every aspect, literally with one pick. Gray Zabel played tackle at North Dakota State, played guard, played center. He can play it all for Seattle if an injury goes down. You know what I'm saying? They needed help on the interior, offensive line in general. But Gray Zabel gives you great flexibility. You know what I'm saying? A great piece to that offense. And then they go out and get Cam Chancellor 2.0, which he's built like Cam Chancellor, you know what I'm saying? But he doesn't play like Cam. You know what I'm saying? He's an absolute ball magnet, pick six demon. You know, he was always taking a pick back to the crib for for a pick six. But my comparison for Nick Emenward was Derwin James, you know what I'm saying? And he plays kind of similar to him, bro. You know, both of them are hard hitting, but Nick Emenward, bro, he is a dog. Along with Spoon and Woolen and Julian Love, they might be trying to recreate Legion of Boom, bro. You know what I'm saying? Another great underrated pick, Elijah Arroyo, definitely gonna be our tight end of the future. Noah Fant might be working his way out of Seattle pretty soon. And Arroyo was a big play threat for Cam Ward last year in the Miami Hurricanes. So I like this pick a lot. But Jalen fucking Milroe, I'm surprised he went before Shador. And the team he went to, kind of a perfect fit. He's probably gonna play that Justin Fields role like Justin Fields played for the Steelers last year, where on like third, fourth downs he come in, you know what I'm saying, read option, QB draw, QB zone, you know what I'm saying. But they do have a great asset to fall back on if Sam Darnold doesn't, play like he did with Minnesota, and maybe it's just a 1 year wonder. They'll have somebody ready to go after he sits a year, because Milroe is nowhere near ready. He has a lot to fix. The short and intermediate, passes, he's got to fix his action on that. He's got a great deep ball, he's crazy athletic. His decision making has to be fixed as well, bro. He has to get better at making better decisions. But, I think Milroe has so much upside to be a great, quarterback in this league. If it doesn't work out, then, wide receiver, running back. You know what I'm saying? But they got some steals. Torrey Horton, if he didn't get hurt last year, he's not making it to the 5th round. They got a great steal with him. And Ricky White. This wide receiver core is looking nice. Jason, Cooper Kupp, Torrey Horton, and Ricky White. Great rotation right there. You know what I'm saying? Damian Martinez is very interesting too. They got K9. They got Charbonnet as well. And they drafted Damian Martinez. Now, I did hear a rumor a few months ago they are looking to trade K9, maybe. There was a rumor. Maybe that rumor is true, and maybe they do trade K9. I hope they don't. But this could be a dangerous little running back rotation, bro. And Damian Martinez, he plays just like Charbonnet. Physical runner, run right through you. He's always looking for contact. And they got another power back, basically, bro. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. But yeah, the Seahawks, they get an A+ from me, bro. Speaking of wide receiver cores, yo. Bucks, calm the fuck down. They drafted Ibuka and Tez Johnson. Y'all already have Mike Evans, even though we don't know how long he's gonna have left. You know what I'm saying, his career. Chris Godwin, he's always hurt, so I understand why they drafted Ibuka. They got Jalen McMillan. These motherfuckers got weapons for days. Baker Mayfield finna eat this season. He finna eat this season. You know what I'm saying? They drafted Benjamin Morrison in the second round, which in my opinion was a top 3 corner in this draft class if he was healthy. He's been dealing with a nagging shoulder injury for a while now. You know what I'm saying? I think he was also dealing with something with a knee injury or something like that too. But when healthy, one of the best corners in the league, bro. Well, in this draft, and he might be one of the best in the league sooner rather than later, bro. If he's able to stay healthy. David Walker, I feel like is a solid edge rusher as well. I think he had 7.5 sacks this past season, so that's a solid edge rusher for them. They're gonna have a nice little rotation with him, Kalijah Kancey. They lost Joe Tryon Shoyinka. They still got Yaya Diaby. Vita Vea, and they went out. They signed the 400-pound Florida defensive tackle. Him and Vita Vea up the gut. Yeah, good luck running on them niggas. And then they signed Shiloh as well, which I'm happy for Shiloh. You know what I'm saying? The whole Sanders family. But yeah, bro, the Bucks. I'm not gonna lie, bro. They did their big one with this, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna give them B plus. I'm gonna give them B plus, bro. Actually, I'm gonna give them an A minus. They get an A minus from me, bro, because they got some great players in this class, man. Okay, we got the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans, bro, they are working. I'm not gonna lie, they get an A plus from me. From the Cam Ward pick, they get their franchise guy. Oluwafemi Oladejo, that's how you pronounce his name, Oladejo. This pick was underrated too. They get more pass rush help. You know, to go along with Leatu Latu, Kwity Paye, DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart. Kevin Winston, very underrated pick for them. Them Penn State Nittany Lions had him and Jalen Reed, both underrated, in my opinion, coming out of the draft. Kimray DK, very underrated as well. I watched some Florida games last year. He definitely stuck out to me. Gunnar Helm, a superstar for Texas these last couple years, bro. Especially in the playoffs last season. Had a clutch touchdown in overtime against ASU. You know what I'm saying? Phenomenal tight end and a great tight end class. Alec Iomanner, for some reason, fell to the 4th round. One of my favorite wide receivers in this class. You know what I'm saying? And he gave Travis Hunter his worst game to date. And guess what? He might do it again because he plays him twice a year in the same division. Oh my gosh, that's about to be a fucking movie. Io Manor is a demon, bro. He has a great big catch radius, a deep threat. You know what I'm saying? Great jump ball skills, and he's gonna definitely help out Cam Ward. And another weapon they got too. They didn't draft him. They signed him undrafted free agent. Shout out my nigga Xavier Restrepo. Him and Cam Ward. Gonna be doing the thing again, boy. I was hoping they got him. I was hoping they drafted him, but I feel like him running a 4.8 at his pro day is the reason why he dropped out of the draft. But Restrepo is such a great, reliable target. Great after the catch. You know what I'm saying? He rarely drops the ball too. You know what I'm saying? Great spec catch. You know what I'm saying? Receiver. He's a phenomenal player in general, bro. Pretty good route runner, and that wide receiver core for the future is looking pretty solid, bro. You obviously, they still got Calvin Ridley. They just signed Tyler Lockett, and he's going to be a nice mentor to all those young receivers that they have, man. So the Titans, they might actually do something this year. And another underrated draft pick as well, Khalil Mullins. Now, Michigan's offense was horrible last year, but he was pretty much the only bright spot, him and Colston Loveland. He overshadowed and outplayed Donovan Edwards the whole year. And he might be a nice option, bro, behind Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears. Hey, the Titans might have cooked. I'm not gonna lie, bro. The Titans might have cooked. They honestly get. I'm gonna keep it a buck. They get an A plus from me, bro. They killed the draft. And last but not least, we got the Washington Commanders. Now, they had a pretty solid draft too, not gonna lie. Josh Connolly, I know a lot of You know what I'm saying? The Commanders fans are probably expecting defense, you know what I'm saying, or a receiver. But this is very important. You got to protect your franchise guy. We cannot have a RG3 repeat because the offensive line was dog shit. You got Laramie Tunsil playing, you know what I'm saying, left tackle, protecting Jaden Daniels' blind side. Now, Connolly played left tackle at Oregon, so he's going to have to get used to playing right tackle. But, you know, I don't know if it's going to be as easy because it's different protecting the blind side from, you know what I'm saying, the right. Is it called the strong side? Is the right side called the strong side? I don't know. But he's going to have to get comfortable with that. But that's you got to build the trenches around your quarterback first. You know what I'm saying? Because if he doesn't have time to throw, he's not going to be good. You know what I'm saying? That's how you can tell how good your quarterback is going to be if you build in the trenches first. So they did that. They went ahead, second round, got Trey Amos. That cornerback group looking pretty good, man. If Lattimore can lock in, I know he was hurt last year and he looked washed. If he can lock in, you know what I'm saying, this next upcoming season, they're gonna have a you know what I'm saying, really good secondary, bro. Along with Mikey, who balled out last year, they signed Jonathan Jones, and now adding Trey Amos to that, he has great ball skills, sticky in coverage, ran the 4.4s at the combine. That was his only question with him was how fast he was. He put that to an end real quick by running a 4.40 at the combine. So I love Trey Amos. You know what I'm saying? He was at Alabama, then transferred to Ole Miss. I still hate him for that, but you know what I'm saying? I love him as a player. Jalen Lane, solid option for them. The Commanders got a pretty nice receiving core. Obviously Terry McLaurin, Debo. Hopefully he can get things going. You know, I think they still got Noah Brown. They signed Michael Gallup, and now adding a young receiver in Jalen Lane. This is pretty solid. And Corey Krosky Merritt. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, my Corey Krosky Merritt reaction been blowing up over the last like half hour or so because the Commanders drafted him. You know what I'm saying? This dude is a dog. They needed a running back, and he's kind of like he's very versatile too, bro. He's kind of like a hybrid type player, but he is a big home run threat. You know what I'm saying? Big home run ready and waiting to happen, and they really need that because let's be for real. Brian Robinson's only good for like 5 yards. You know what I'm saying? Or 3, 4, 5 yards. He's not really gonna pop off a 20+ yard run. Eckler's getting older. I'm not even sure if they even brought him back. But Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt is gonna be their game changer. Their you know what I'm saying, the running back that gives them juice in the running game. And that is it, man. Oh wait, hold on, I forgot to give them the fucking grade. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna give the Commanders. I'm gonna give them. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna give them a B. I'm gonna give them a B. This is solid. You know what I'm saying? Nothing too crazy, but they did really good. I like the Connolly pick. I like the Amos pick. Jalen Lane could turn out and be a nice little weapon. And Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt was really good. I'm not even gonna lie. Actually, I'll give it a B plus. I'll give it a B plus. I'll bump it up a B plus. Not a B plus. You know what I'm saying? But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. What y'all think about my grades? You know what I'm saying? This is my first time doing this, so kind of getting used to it, bro. If I stumbled over my words a lot, low-key tired, you know what I'm saying? Didn't get enough sleep, bro. I only got like 4 hours of sleep. You know, because the draft came on at 12, so bear with me, bro. But I've really enjoyed, you know what I'm saying, covering the draft these last few days, bro. You know what I'm saying? I want to thank each and every one of y'all, bro. You know what I'm saying? I love all of you. You know what I'm saying? It's been a crazy journey so far in my YouTube career, bro, but we nowhere near in our prime yet, bro. Hey, this season we turning the fuck up. You best believe that. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Y'all let me know what other videos I'm going to do, bro. I am going to be react to a lot of you know what I'm saying, Ricky's highlights. So y'all stay tuned for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do a lot of that tomorrow. Get some rest tonight. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to edit this, upload it, and then we going to rock, bro. You know what I'm saying? Without further ado, I'm out.